Well, Fianna Fáil TD Mark McSharry has resigned from the Parliamentary Party. He voted against the government last night in the confidence motion, which government won by 92 votes to 59. The Taoiseach spokesperson said that Micheál Martin regrets Mark Sharry's resignation and wishes him well. And our reporter Killian Sherlock has been looking at what this latest departure means for Fianna Fáil.
Mark McSharry's resignation is a symptom of a wider problem in Fianna Fáil and really not directly connected to the Coveney-Zappone affair in an immediate way.
Dr. Theresa Reedy is a political scientist in the Department of Government at University College Cork.
Mark McSharry has been one of the most vocal critics of the current leadership of Fianna Fáil. I mean, really actually for some time, but it certainly accelerated and been amplified since the 2020 general election. And he's one of the people who is kind of most critical of the leadership of Micheál Martin and lays a lot of the kind of electoral problems at the door of the leadership. But it also has to be said that Mark McSharry himself doesn't really articulate a kind of a vision for Fianna Fáil recovery in any substantive way. Most of his criticism has been very much just focused on the party leader, and there hasn't been a great deal of substance to his criticism.
Mark McSharry's resignation has brought renewed attention on internal divisions inside Fianna Fáil, but Kildare North TD James Lawless remains focused on the future.
I wouldn't overly read into it. Mark has been, I suppose, heading that direction for a while, heading for the exit door. Always sorry to see a member of the Parliamentary Party depart, but I think he has to do what's right for him, and he has been constantly critical of, I suppose, the party and the direction of the leadership for some time. So he has voted with his feet. I suppose the rest of us can get on with being in government and get on with the job at hand. And I wish him well in his future as an independent TD.
At a local level, Sligo County Councillor for Fianna Fáil, Donal Gilroy, said he hoped the resignation won't be a huge loss for the area.
Not only has Sligo lost the only Fianna Fáil TD in Sligo, he's also the only Fianna Fáil TD that represents Leitrim, and he's the only Fianna Fáil TD that represented Roscommon, even though it was only a part of North Roscommon. So it's a big loss for the party. I hope it isn't a big loss for the area. But it had got to a stage, I suppose, where he was damned if he did and he was damned if he didn't. And he chose on this occasion that he wasn't going to toe the line anymore. And he now finds himself outside the party. Talk locally will obviously go on to what's going to happen at the next election. Will he be back in the Fianna Fáil fold, or will he stand as an independent, or what will happen? And only time will tell.
Paul McAuliffe is a Fianna Fáil TD for Dublin North West and said there is renewed support for the programme for government after the recent party think-in.
Look, I'm really disappointed that Mark has decided to resign the whip. He's a long-serving member of the party, certainly longer than I, and he also has great ability, and I suppose it's sad to see that he was so frustrated with the party and the process that he's felt that there was no other option. But I wish him the best of luck. I suppose Mark's decision, I think, certainly clears one thing up, and that's nobody is bound by the whip system unless they want to be. And I think, the idea that we're forced into voting a certain way because of the whip system just isn't true. Me and many other people in Fianna Fáil support the government because we want to see the changes that we spent 10 years saying we would do if we were ever to get back into government. People have to make that choice themselves about where they can best serve their constituents. In this case, Mark has decided to resign the whip. But I think there's a lot of people in the party, certainly after the think-in, that want to roll up our sleeves now and focus on the job of government and communicating that to the wider public.
The question now is, can Fianna Fáil move on steadily from this upset? Here's Dr. Theresa Reedy again.
I mean, I think we can expect continued difficulties in Fianna Fáil until there is some degree of resolution within Fianna Fáil. And they're quite complex in nature. So there is an internal schism, if you want, between those who kind of support the leader and the wider leadership and the cabinet and the direction that they're taking, and those who are kind of unhappy with it on the basis of the recent electoral performance and potentially also the kind of policy direction that the government is going in and the decision to go into government with Fine Gael. But right now, neither faction seems to have kind of the upper hand. So it's a little bit unclear how it's going to play out.
And that was Dr. Teresa Reedy from UCC, ending that report from Killian Sherlock.